Released in 2020, the Galaxy S20 and S20 Plus are now 5 years old. The S20 series wasn't particularly popular, mainly due to the price and the camera issues of the Ultra. However, I believe the regular S20 and S20 Plus are fantastic devices and still worth considering in 2025. If you're planning to buy an older flagship phone from 2025 Samsung that still offers great value for money, or if you already own one of these phones and are wondering whether you should upgrade, then this video is for you. By the end of the video, I hope to help you decide which option is better suited to your needs. When it comes to build quality, the S20 and S20 Plus still look and feel modern and very premium. That's because they are made of glass and aluminum. The glass on the back is glossy, so they attract fingerprints, but if you get a light colors like this blue, they aren't as noticeable. Not to mention that this cloud blue is one of the best smartphone colors ever. Both phones have slight curves on both sides of their displays, but they aren't that deep and they look very elegant. Although I prefer flat displays, phones these days have a thick middle frame, so when I use the S20 and S20 Plus, they feel amazing in the hand. Both phones are also IP68 dust and water resistant, but only if the units haven't been opened. Another area where both the S20 and S20 Plus are still modern is with the display. The smaller model has a 6.2-inch display, while the Plus model maxes out at 6.7 inches. Both have Quad HD panels, which means they are very sharp. A 120Hz refresh rate is also present on them, but when using this feature, their displays switch to Full HD. This isn't a big issue though, since even the S24 has a Full HD resolution. Specs aside, these displays are still great. Their colors are vibrant, and combined with the minimal bezels all around, it is just a joy to watch content on them. Outside on sunny days, they don't get as bright as newer phones, but for their prices, they are acceptable. So far, both phones have been doing well, but let's change the tone with some of their shortcomings. First of all, they won't be getting any new major updates anymore, and although they work just fine with Android 13, having the latest features is always a bonus. Secondly, they aren't as good with performance. My units are powered by the Exynos 990, which is famous for all the wrong reasons. With easier tasks, they still work fine, but when playing heavy games, they start to lag and get very warm. RAM management is also fine in day-to-day usage, but when I compare them with other phones, they don't perform as good. On the other hand, both come with 128 gigabytes of storage, and on top of that, they support external storage, which has been removed in later flagships. When it comes to battery life, in 2025, neither of them can get you through a day with a single charge. Usually, I wake up at 7 a.m., and the smaller S20 lasts me until around 4 p.m., while the larger model lasts until about 5 p.m. This is, of course, with light usage. When I test their cameras or performance, they lose battery much faster. This is to be expected, though, since their processor isn't very battery efficient. In my opinion, their battery life is their biggest downside. Charging, on the other hand, is just okay, since both support 25 watts of charging, which is still normal for Samsung phones even in 2025. Both phones also support wireless charging and wireless power share for charging other devices. When it comes to audio quality, both phones are almost identical since they support stereo speakers tuned by AKG. The Plus model gets a bit louder, but the sound quality is almost the same. The S20 series was the first lineup from the S series to lack a headphone jack, and this trend continues even today. For security, they use the same ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner, which is very reliable even though it isn't the fastest. A face scanner is also present on both devices, and it works just fine. Finally, let's shift our focus to the cameras, and here, just like in most cases, they continue to be very similar, if not identical. On the back, they have the same main ultra-wide and telephoto cameras. The larger Plus has also a depth sensor, which is useless, and its only purpose is to slightly change the camera module. With the main cameras, they can still deliver decent results. In daylight, pictures are sharp with vibrant colors and excellent dynamic range. At low light, they struggle a bit in some scenes, but in my opinion, they are still acceptable. The ultra-wide cameras are also fine. Pictures aren't as sharp or as vibrant as the main cameras, but for the prices they have, these cameras are just okay. The telephoto cameras, on the other hand, are the weakest when it comes to the rear cameras. Pictures taken aren't as detailed, and during the night, they don't get activated unless there is a lot of light. You can, however, use the 64-megapixel more for extra sharpness, but its focal length is only 1.1x. They have also the same front camera, and results aren't really that good. Pictures lack detail, and skin colors aren't as accurate. Both phones can record videos up to 8K, but at this resolution, stabilization isn't as good. At 4K, however, stabilization is great, and unlike the S20 Ultra, these never had focusing issues. Overall, when it comes to the cameras, I would say that they are more than enough for people who don't want the latest features, and in my opinion, they have better cameras than most of the mid-ranges that were released in later years. So which one do I recommend getting in 2025? Well, like I said, both are fantastic devices, but personally, I would go for the S20 Plus mainly for the larger display and the slightly better battery life. Prices are very similar, and you can find them in great condition under $300. If you are an owner of the S20 or the S20 Plus, let me know about your experience. Thank you for watching, and for more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel.